I'm happy to present the next presenters here. Is Ms. Amanda Green, a highly experienced therapist with over 25 years in marriage and couples counseling. She holds a Master of Social Work degree and is a registered social worker and also certified in emotionally focused therapy for couples, a proven approach to fostering deep emotional connections in relationships. And she is joined by Ms. Tal Mandelbaum, a professional in social organizational psychology with a master's degree in the field. Based in Israel, Ms. Mandelbaum brings a unique understanding of the intersection between human behavior and organizational systems, offering an integrative approach to fostering healthy connections both in personal and professional environments. So we are very happy to hear and listen to you, to your insights. Together, you will present your work titled Couples in Connection. Please.
Thank you so much, Joachim. Yes, we're together here today. Tal, my dear colleague and friend, and we have we have been working on this course for couples for a few years now. We've had about 50 participants go through 4 different courses. So I don't know if you want to say a quick hello, Tal, too.
Sure, yeah. So hello, everyone. It's nice to be here. It's really an honor to be here with everyone. And it'll be great to share the work that we've been doing focused on couples. It's interesting to see how everything that we learn about interconnectedness really can be expressed through couple relationships very beautifully. Yeah, so I'm going to share our slides. We have much to go through, so let's begin.
Yes, and as we're finding the first slide there, our course is educational, so it's psychoeducational. I have written a book about it called The Butterfly Blueprint, Revitalize Your Relationship and Keep Your Heart Fluttering Forever. So this is, the material is kind of pulling from the book. In the course, we have chat prompts and time for Q&A. We have exercises each module and homework that we give each time. The first 2 modules kind of lay the foundation for the whole course. And so the first module is called Purpose. And we're going to dive a little deeper into that module for you today. And the second module is called Perception of Reality. So this is where we help people see that their eyes and ears and touch sensation don't always give them the picture that is useful to have. So there we go. Okay, go ahead, Tal.
Yeah, and so those were the 2 foundational modules, and then we have 8 more modules that cover 8 principles of an interdependent relationship, including making space between the partners, embracing equal worth, nourishing the space between us, being ourselves within the relationship, uniting above conflict, sharing intimacy, growing whole together, and living interdependently. And these are all kind of concepts that we also know from workshops, and they apply to our couple relationship.
Yes, so each module has a caterpillar phase, a chrysalis phase, and a butterfly phase. Each of the 8 modules that discuss the principles of an interdependent relationship that Tal just described. The stuck loops that we get caught in these infinity symbols show how couples get stuck, what does not work when they're trying to relate to one another, and what actually causes them to conflict and divides them. It is this attitude of kind of one versus the other, or one at the expense of the other, either or, but not both. That doesn't work and trips us up every time in each of the principles. So it's this egoistic kind of for me approach. And the example we gave here was pursue, withdraw, which is a fairly common example, especially in emotionally focused therapy, which is the model I'm certified in. And so the more one partner pursues the other for connection by talking or following them around to continue talking, the more the other pulls away and withdraws and shuts down, kind of goes numb sometimes and turns away. And the more the other one withdraws, the more the first one pursues. So they each trigger each other and get caught up in this mutually exclusive, stuck place, stuck dynamic.
Right. And so our work is both to become aware of this, the ego that is causing these conflictual dynamics of pursue versus withdraw. And once we become aware, then we can gradually shift or transcend the ego to create complementary dynamics, connected dynamics. In this case, for example, reveal and respond. So for example, instead of pursuing my partner and trying to force my partner to listen to me and to do as I wish, we create an environment where we both can reveal our desires and our wishes and then act mutually to fulfill each other's desires and learn how to respond to my partner's need rather than withdraw and avoid it. And so all of the work has been to teach couples how to see the stuckness, that loop, to acknowledge it, and then learn how to transcend it, and by that become an interdependent relationship or an interconnected relationship rather than codependent or stuck.
Yes, so here we see the image of the butterfly again. And so we've gone from the caterpillar, infinity, stuck loop, to the chrysalis, where we shift our mental focus and our intention to aim for the connection. And then we get to the butterfly, where we actually see the fruits of our efforts. And rather than that stuck loop kind of canceling out the body of the butterfly, which is the part that coordinates the two sets of wings. And in this metaphor, I may have forgotten to mention, but each set of wings is one partner. So we have a left set of wings, one partner, and a right set, which is the other partner, but we need the relationship and the connection between them. So with the stuck loops, we kind of cancel out the connection or destroy the relationship. And by the time we get to the butterfly stage of each module, we've learned how to build that connection and co-create with efforts from both partners, that body of the butterfly that coordinates the two sets of wings so that they can fly harmoniously together. So this one is moving from two separate people to, there's now three. There's the two partners and the relationship that they share. So it's all about what works. It's all about how to complement one another. It's both and instead of either or. And it's creative.
Right. And as we know, this is what we learn from nature, that in nature we see all those opposing forces, opposite forces everywhere, day and night, male, female, summer and winter, right? We see that everywhere, the contrasting forces that sustain balance. And we're really learning from nature, taking all these metaphors from nature in order to teach couples how to balance these opposing forces and really use them in order to create that third shared space or harmony where we begin to emulate nature and its connection. We teach them how humans are a unique part of the system and how, unlike the rest of nature, we have a choice to evolve and to create this balance consciously, to really embrace all of these different opposites that show up in our couple relationships most powerfully. I think the couple relationship is where we discover the oppositeness in the most powerful way. And then we learn how to embrace these differences rather than fight them, and to see how we can complete each other, complement each other, rather than cancel each other out.
Yes, so we discover life's purpose through our little mini laboratory, which is our relationship. One partner might be more introverted and the other one more extroverted, or one might be messier and the other tidier. There's an infinite number of differences that we can encounter in our couple relationships. And whatever the difference is, it's up to each partner to reconcile these opposites and aim to build balance consciously. So relationships help us grow by providing this feedback and endless opportunities to evolve. And when we embrace this higher purpose, opposites stop being obstacles and become stepping stones to deeper connection.
Yeah, and for that to happen, then we need to become conscious of that inner mechanism that is driving us, where we seek pleasure, avoid pain. We know we call that the ego. Where to begin with, we treat our partners like something that we want to fulfill us, just like we like chocolate or we like fish. We want the chocolate or the fish because it makes us feel good. And we need to learn how to see this inner mechanism and how it's actually driving the pleasure away. When we treat each other in this way and we try to pull the fulfillment and the enjoyment from the relationship into ourselves, then we're actually avoiding the richness and the beauty that can evolve between two people who learn how to give to each other and how to sustain one another, and by that transcend this mechanism keeping us stuck. So this is the part where we get to know human nature, and then we move on to the connection.
Yes, I love this picture. It's just an easy way to see how when we first get together in that honeymoon stage, we kind of have more common ground, and the center of each partner and then the center of the relationship are kind of close together. And then our desires, our priorities, they grow, they change, and over time we become out of sync with our partner. So your partner ends up having something new, exciting, or there's something different that you need to kind of face together. So the space between you grows and the connection doesn't feel quite as automatic. And this is completely natural. So desires do shift and needs evolve, but we want to know how to kind of close that gap at some point, rather than just drifting apart and ending up feeling like roommates or, I don't know, co-parents who raise kids together but don't share a couple connection, or business partners who pay bills together but don't feel connected as a couple. So we kind of drift like this. We have less common ground, and people tend to then turn to lots of third things where they're scrolling on their phones or working all the time or binge watching Netflix. And the real connection that they long for deep down inside is kind of drifting and fading into the background.
Right. And then when we are in this consciousness, then we know that duality surfaces, the reality of the conflicting opposites that we were talking about. And these are just some examples of how this duality surfaces between couples. We were talking about pursuers and withdrawers. That's when we fight, right? That's the ego dance, when one of the people pursues, the other withdraws, and it just becomes this big fight. But we also have other dualities in relationships. We have talkers and listeners. We have thinkers and feelers, those who like to spend and those who like to save. People who are more into physical intimacy, and then the other partner might be more into emotional intimacy, right? Those who like to be in the moment, those who like to plan for the future, introverted and extroverted, tidy and messy, adventurer and nester, routine and spontaneous. So we see we have all of these dualities in our relationships, all of these dilemmas. And these differences can become obstacles when we are seeing them from that level of separateness of the ego. But when we learn how to approach them with the right kind of mindset and the intention to connect above our differences, they actually become our opportunities for growth, both individually and as a couple. And that is what we aim to teach, how to navigate all of these differences together in a way that benefits both people in the partnership.
Yes. And when all those dualities are surfacing, those are kind of like behavioral things you can see on the surface. But beneath the surface, there's deeper fears and longings that are kind of taking hold. People in couples become afraid of rejection. They long to feel desired, valued, and important to their partner. But with all the busyness, real connection gets kind of pushed aside, and walls go up, defenses kick in, vulnerability feels risky. So we end up with all of these experiences where before we were fulfilled, now we're lacking, we're deficient, we're feeling unloved and unheard, unwanted, unimportant, unappreciated, unseen, unvalidated, unsupported, unvalued, and unattractive. So this is where it becomes kind of painful, and the pleasure turns to pain slowly over time. So sometimes there's silence, sometimes there's explosive fights, but either way, the same unresolved patterns keep repeating, leaving both partners wanting more, but not knowing how to change it, how to get back to loving each other.
Right. And so doubts and questions surface. We ask ourselves, what happened? Where did the love go? Why did it end? Whose fault is it? And sometimes people ask, am I too much? Is it my fault? Is it me? Is my partner just incapable of meeting my needs? Am I inadequate? Why can't I ever seem to get it right with my partner? These are all these questions and doubts that surface when people really don't see that all of this is happening for a reason. All of this is part of a greater process that is happening to all of us in order to help us shift, right? So then when these doubts and questions surface, we start looking for answers. And in our course, we aim to provide these answers from a higher level.
Yes, we all crave connection, but let's be honest, most of us were never taught how to build and sustain authentic connection, especially in our love relationships. Nobody gave us a manual when we got together until now, because now we have this course which guides the way. So too many couples, though, end up settling, believing disconnection is just part of long-term love. And it doesn't have to be this way. The honeymoon phase wasn't meant to last. It's not that we want to go back to the honeymoon phase, because that was where we're kind of propped up by nature and hormones, and we don't have to make efforts. We don't have to try. Everything happens just easily and automatically. But the end of the honeymoon stage actually gives us an opportunity for our real love story to start with the real work that comes along with that. So this course, our journey, isn't just about settling for second best. It's about showing you what's possible when you finally have the tools to transform your relationship.
Right. And nature gives us the blueprint for interdependence. Just like we see in the natural world, we see how the human body is this intricate, interconnected system where every part plays a vital role, how the heart pumps blood, carrying the oxygen and from the lungs, right? And that reaches every cell. We have the immune system protecting against threats, the brain coordinating everything. Nothing functions in isolation. Everything depends on everything else. And really, there are no bad guys. So this interconnectedness reminds us that true balance isn't about one part being more important than another, but each finding their contribution to the whole working together in harmony. It's really the same in a couple relationship, learning to see each other as equal, learning to see how each of us has an important contribution, and how both of us create a whole that is greater than the sum of our parts.
Yes, so here we are back with the butterfly metaphor again, and a butterfly is another perfect example of an integral system, just like the human body that Tal just spoke about. So again, its left and right sets of wings work together for survival, finding food, evading predators, regulating temperature, attracting mates, pollinating flowers. Every movement is a coordinated effort between the two sets of wings that allows the butterfly to thrive. And a couple is the same, with each partner being like one of the sets of wings. So two individuals come together, not just to coexist, but to create something greater than either could alone. And a dynamic synergy happens where each person strengthens the other through the connection that emerges between them. So you end up with three, as I think I said, not just two. So together you navigate life's challenges with two perspectives instead of one. You know that saying, two heads are better than one. Offering support to one another when times get tough. If one partner goes through some health issue or has extended family troubles, the other partner can fill in the gaps for them. So you share responsibilities, you lighten each other's load, and create a foundation of stability and security for one another. And beyond the challenges, you also amplify the joy in the relationship. Everything is more fun when it's shared. So successes feel sweeter, adventures become richer, and love fuels both personal and shared growth. When a couple learns to work consciously as an interdependent system, just like nature intended, connection deepens, resilience grows, and life becomes something you truly build together.
Right. And a couple of relationships are just one level. We know that interdependence is really the key to all relationships, whether between two people, two communities, two cultures, or two countries and the world at large. Really, the same principles apply that overlap in the Venn diagram or the body of the butterfly. It all represents that same shared space that we want to create, where connection, cooperation, and growth can happen. And so by learning to navigate differences and build true interdependence in your own couple relationship, you are contributing to something much bigger than you. When couples evolve, they set a foundation for stronger families, communities, and ultimately a more connected world. So the work that you do in your relationship really ripples outwards, helping humanity move towards true interdependence.
So the really good news is that if you find yourself kind of in that place where your relationship has lost its luster and you're longing for something more in the connection with your partner, we can get into the driver's seat ourselves in our lives and in our couple relationships. As we know, everything in nature operates on instinct. So birds migrate, flowers bloom, animals hunt, all driven by an internal autopilot. But as humans, we're given something unique, the ability to choose. Unlike the other creatures, we're not bound by instinct alone. We have the power to take control and step into the driver's seat and steer where we're going with intention. So letting nature take its course isn't enough, or just hoping that you fall back in love again, or that maybe you just need to be with someone else and you'll feel that same excitement again. This isn't what we're destined to do as human beings. If we want to grow, both as individuals and as couples, we have to actively shape our connection. This means making conscious choices and breaking old patterns that don't work, and creating a relationship that doesn't just happen, but is intentionally built.
Yes, and when we build it intentionally, we basically draw this power, a third power, into our relationship called love, which consciously connects us.
Yes, so love is what bridges all the divides that we find ourselves in couple relationships, whether it has to do with those common topics that couples fight about: money, sex, in-laws, jobs around the house, something else. I don't know if you remember the fifth one, Tal. But when you both aim to connect, you can bridge all those divides.
Yeah, so to finalize this short talk about couple relationships, your love story really is just beginning. When that honeymoon stage ends, the hormones fade, that's just the beginning of the story. That's where we begin to learn how to consciously connect. That's where the real good stuff begins, where we can really learn to evolve as human beings, to move beyond that self-absorbed perspective and really intentionally build the space where true connection thrives, true deep love, that purple overlap in the Venn diagram between blue and red, where something greater happens between us, the body of the butterfly. It's about shifting from those stuck loops that really keeps us suffering in our relationships into a synergy and emergence, allowing something much deeper and more beautiful and meaningful to fulfill us and take shape. So your relationship isn't just about staying together or surviving together. It's a path of growth, a journey that brings purpose and meaning to your life. Love isn't just about what you get from it. It's about what you create together and give to each other. Thank you, everyone. That was
Thank
it.
you so much. Thank you for this great inspiration here for all of us. I think it's very deep and meaningful what you brought to us. And yes, let's see what questions we have. And we have Dr. Pines here. Please go ahead.
Yes, I was extremely impressed. You seem to introduce like a sort of in your Venn diagram of the intersection, a sort of a middle line. It's taking like a higher similarity of form that kind of brings together two individual a difference, like almost like a right and a left together. I'm wondering, in addition, but what was amazing is how you've brought that, so to speak, laterally at the level of couples and relationships, into all various different kinds of forms. As you said, the concern, one wants the window shut, one wants to open, the introvert, extrovert, those sort of things. I'm just wondering if we look at also laterally, which you briefly mentioned, but I mean, I can, based on, let's say, the approach of Murray Gell-Mann and the forming the Santa Fe Institute, the idea of very simple principles working all the way up into different levels of complexity. Bring up this, but the withdraw and attack type of thing with the couples that we were throwing at the beginning seems very reminiscent of what the Russians did regarding this war strategy regarding the French invasion during the Napoleonic era, and then the German invasion in World War II, as well as Mao and the communist Chinese in their successful revolution. But down below, you also have the situation like with quantum mechanics. You have the particles that either break up totally into the universe separate, or they're linked together in entanglement as one thing, no separation whatsoever. But there is a middle line where there's like a larger, but they discovered years back, a larger kind of particle formation, which has a partial entanglement. Yet there's an individuality, and yet entangled. They do see this. So we see this at all different levels. You brought that up too, but I'm wondering if you looked into maybe in partnering in different areas, actually within Hood, that what you've done masterfully in the lateral examination, going up that ladder at all the lateral points, in other words, forming like a two-dimensional of hierarchy systems down through the couple level, through the individual level, and back down, 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 down. As well, in that. So we have like a two-dimensional, now the height and the width.
So we have this question here. Thank you. Do you see this as a possibility? Please
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you, Elliot. Yeah, it's so true with quantum physics, with international relations, all these macro and micro. We can use a different, the expanding things or or going smaller with a microscope, and it's all the same. So we haven't considered reaching beyond couple work. However, I would say that the 8 principles that we've identified and this metaphor with the butterfly and the 2 sets of wings, just like the one slide showed, those 2 sets of wings can be 2 couples creating a little couples community. They can be 2 communities making a greater community, 2 cultures, 2 countries. So these 8 principles of interdependence, I do believe, apply to international relations on the grandest scale, as well as this work we're doing on the microcosmic level. I don't know if you want to add, Tal.
Yeah, I think also the caterpillar to butterfly metaphor also very relevant to the world at large, that we know that we've entered that stage where humanity is that caterpillar that's satiated, that is now going through the chaos of the chrysalis and needs to emerge as a butterfly. So definitely it's all very relevant to humanity as a whole. And that's what makes it so fascinating. Definitely we're open to expansion.
Great. So that's a good prospect here for us. Thank you. And so let's see. We are close to our roundtable discussion, but we are also aware of our interest here. So we can only maybe take one more question. And I think, Ernest, we need to let the lady ask if you would allow me to. So please go ahead and ask Natalia.
Да. Спасибо за очень интересную лекцию. Она близка мне, потому что я тоже занимаюсь в этом направлении, но больше концентрируюсь на детях. Но, тем не менее, большую роль играет семья, и обращаю внимание также на те ситуации, которые вы так прекрасно изложили, и как вы с ними работаете. И хотела бы вот...
I'm not getting any English. I don't know if anyone else is.
Yes, it's the same for me here. So we have a topic with English translation, please. Could we check this?
Sorry to interrupt you, Natalia.
So hopefully we will.
Okay, check.
Yes, so I hear the English translator now. Great. So if you could please again ask your question in a very concise way. What is your question in one sentence, please?
Небольшую преамбулу все-таки скажу. Спасибо, интересная лекция.
I want to say thank you very much for your presentation. It was very interesting, and it's close to what I do professionally.
Мне приходится точно так же, как и вам, работать с
I work just as you with families, but I focus on children though. However, there is
морфологической основой, которой является плацента. Но это временный орган.
There is a term, placenta, which is the common organ between mother and fetus. And there is a similar quote-unquote product between mother and father, which is the child. And so the child is similar as to mother, just as it is to father. So the question is, did you have a chance to use this objective reality, using this fact, how much it can strengthen
в качестве основы ребенка. Вот у вас были в этом направлении какие-то вот конкретные, эффективные техники? Или же, может быть, упражнения? Скажите, пожалуйста, может быть, что-то было с переводом, не могу ничего сказать, но вот как-то я не уловила. Может быть, из-за того, что нет времени, вы не озвучили это? Спасибо.
we didn't get the end of that
Did
translated.
you use the diadem? There is this diadem, if I understood correctly. So could you use this diadem to help people with the relationships? If I understood it correctly, she talked about placenta and it being as a diadem, and
Yeah, I think actually in the New Life shows about relationships, he talks a lot about this example of the mother and child as an example for a couple of relationships as well. And we've also used this metaphor before of how within a couple of relationship, we are sometimes the mother where we give and we support and we channel love. And then sometimes we're the baby who needs to be supported and needs to receive and to grow. And then interchangingly, we take on these different roles. But it is definitely also a very deep area to explore and to take examples from in couple relationships as well. It seems that everybody here has such great experience in different fields, and we're looking for the place where it all comes together, and I'm sure it's there.
Thank you so much for the presentation, for the questions, for the answers. Yes, we are looking for the place where it all comes together, and maybe it's in our heart, and maybe it's our common heart that we have here and that we just built together. Thank you for this presentation. And